we have in Imago what we call the intentional dialogue. And the intentional dialogue is very structured. And the reason for it being structured is because many of us do not listen. You know, there's one thing to hear what your partner is saying, but really listening to what your partner is saying. So in the intentional dialogue, which is the theme throughout all the exercises, you are taught to listen, mirror what your partner is saying, and some partners want it word for word, some don't. People will often ask me, well, why do we have to mirror? That's so stupid. Well, guess what? Quite often when I am working with a couple and they mirror and their partner hears what they've said back, they'll say, oh no, I don't think I meant it that way. So the mirroring is not only for the receiver who is listening, but also for the sender who is initiating the dialogue. And then we have, after mirroring, we teach validation. And what a lot of us get confused about is we think emotionally that validation means that we lose our ability to think or what our opinion is and what matters. And really a validation is believing, okay, so what my partner is saying right now is very important to them, but it also doesn't mean that I have to let go of what matters to me and what I believe. Because again, remember what I said earlier is this is not about being symbiotic. We're two separate people. So it's so beautiful to watch when a couple starts to understand what the validation does. Watch how the other person kind of just melts into hearing that their partner gets it. Okay, so that's a validation. Then after the validation, we have empathy. And empathy is the receiver understanding how that makes their partner feel by using feeling words like, you know, gosh, what you just told me, I can't imagine. You must feel so overwhelmed and sad and disconnected. I mean, I've actually seen couples, tears come to couples' eyes because there is that beautiful flow that goes on. And there's a connection there. But to jump back a bit, what I realize I left out is before we teach you how to mirror, you summarize what you heard your partner said or what you listened to what your partner said. Because again, intentional dialogue is knee to knee, heart to heart, and eye to eye. And I always say to my couples, you do not sit facing one another when you're having a meaningful dialogue with each other. If you are running from one room to the other or leaving to go to work for the day, and if you're really going to expect your partner to get everything you're saying in that 5-minute interval, then you're setting yourself up for failure. So it's very important to check in. It's very important to ask, do you have the time to talk? Is now a good time? And then you sit knee to knee, heart to heart, eye to eye. And then go through. One person is the sender. The other person is the receiver. One topic is used, not a laundry list, because a laundry list is overwhelming. So now, understanding conceptually that the intentional dialogue will run throughout all of the exercises that are used. So one of the exercises that we have are called caring behaviors, where you have to think of caring behaviors that you want to do for your partner. That's part of re-romanticizing. Another behavior would be the parent-child dialogue, which would have to do with how your partner triggers you and where you go back in time, and that, if that makes sense. Without getting, I don't want to overwhelm you, my audience, right now. Another exercise that we have, which is beautiful, is the flooding exercise. So there are many different exercises, the commitment dialogue, where, again, as I said to you, the intentional dialogue strings throughout. Okay, so let's go over that one more time. That's sitting knee to knee and heart to heart and eye to eye, speaking in the eye. Once your partner is speaking to you, you mirror back what they say. Then after mirroring, you summarize, you validate, you're taught empathy, and then we switch so that now your partner can tell you how they feel about the subject that lies in between both of you. Because a term that we use quite often is, the truth sort of sits in the middle. Because, yes, it sounds great to say, well, I know that mine is the truth. Well, that's a feeling, not a fact. So we use a lot of metaphors, like feelings are not facts. They're not.